Hello, everybody. It's October 15th, 2019, and this is class number 1 of our newly launched Zero to Hero training on how to do online parties. And super excited, folks are coming in. We're going to just get ourselves started really quickly. I've asked you guys who are already here to do just a quick intro, give us your name, tell us your city and state where you're located, because we're all over the place. And the one thing about online parties that you're most excited about learning during our time together. Mary Lou, you were here first. You get to go.
Mary Lou Floyd. I go by Mary Lou. I live in Brentwood, California, which is in the Bay Area. And I want to get a better overview or a better look at the flow of things because it's starting to come together a little bit.
Awesome. She's made great progress from this morning to right now. Thanks for being here, my friend. Maggie.
My name is Maggie Geisler. My husband and I actually do it. My husband Casey's currently making dinner and my applesauce in the blender while at it. We are located in Port Orchard, Washington. And I am actually looking for just to hopefully solidify my online party process. The goal.
Your process. I heard Mary Lou say the flow. You said the process. I'm hearing a trend. Great. Brittany. Thanks, Maggie, for being here.
Hi, guys. Brittany Stewart from Sacramento, California. Let's see. What do I want to learn? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. What have I not learned? I don't know yet.
So I will give kudos to Brittany. Brittany is one of the two wonderful consultants who joined me in taking the pilot program of this class. So we finish it tomorrow with our 3rd week, and she is a pro. She doesn't even have to tell us what she wants to learn. She's got it down pat. Friend Brittany, and use her as a resource and ask her questions. She is a big help, and she's growing her team. How many people do you just about have ready to join you?
So I have 3 people about to join me, and I just added Deirdre, if I said her name right. D. I just added D.
D. Yep, and that's in addition to Athena. So I want you to give it up for our newest soon-to-be director on our team, and where you've got many more coming, Brittany. That's great. Thank you, my friend. I know. Kate knows how cool that is. Kate, you're next.
My name's Kate McGuire. I'm in South Jordan, Utah. Used to live in the Bay Area up until 5 years ago now, 5 years. And I've done a lot of these trainings and I'm still struggling with getting it off the ground. So I just need to go over everything. Every time I hear something again, I hear something new, something sticks. So we'll see what sticks this time.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Kate, we're so glad you're here. How long have you been a Pampered Chef?
6 years.
Woo! Go girl. Love it. Congratulations. So Dee, can I'm going to unmute you. Introduce us to that lovely little baby you got on your lap. And where are you calling from?
I am Deirdre, or Dee for short. I'm in Billings, Montana. This is little Hayden. My main thing I want to learn for online parties is the process and being successful with it.
That's on my agenda for today. Very good. Thank you for coming. I'm going to click the mute button because I know you've got little ones. So pay close attention. If you need to unmute, let me know. Okay. And Ellen is here, my mom. Woo! Ellen, can you hear us okay?
Hi.
Ellen, where are you?
Hey, my name is Ellen Lowe. I am in Southern California. I will be with Pampered Chef 20 in January.
Did you hear what she said? 20 years in January? It bleeped out for me, but that is fabulous.
Hi. I've done quite a lot of online parties. But like all of you, I would like to make them more successful and get more bookings from them. So I'm very, very curious how this whole program is going to work.
Great. Very good.
So I congratulate you all for being here.
Big time. Friend Ellen, and make her your best buddy. She is a wealth of knowledge about Pampered Chef, all things Pampered Chef. And she is, in fact, my mother. And I
All this
recommend
old
it
has to be good for something.
1,000 times over to invite your mom or invite your daughter to do Pampered Chef with you. It's been 19 years, and Pampered Chef pays for our family reunions. I mean, really,
Yes.
just that alone, right? Very good. Okay, and Rosario, I'm so glad you made it. Can you hear us? I'm unmuting Rosario. I'm trying to unmute Rosario. Rosario, can you unmute for a second and introduce yourself? And I'm just gonna, you're muted. And I'm gonna just point out that Sherry Carr invited me to participate in her Zero to Hero program, her first training, and I was allowed to bring 2 consultants. And I picked Brittany and I picked Rosario, and they dove into this. So again, we finished that class tomorrow, and I was super eager to get this info into your hands. And so super jazzed. Rosario just dived in, and she was one of the early people to start doing online parties with me. So my dear, where are you located?
I'm in Oakland.
Oakland, California. Great. And what one thing are you most excited about learning about online parties?
I'm most excited to see, to learn how to have a successful party, and also to book more parties after that.
Bookings. Great. Got it. That is on our to-do list. Fabulous. Thank you. Miss Rita, are you there? Can you hear us?
I am. I'm here.
Okay, super. Where are you located, dear?
I'm located in Hardin, Montana.
Montana. Okay.
Yes.
And one thing you're looking forward to learning?
When my internet gets up so I can use it to start.
I don't know how much I'm going to be able to help with your internet, Rita.
I'm probably not much, but I need to learn the process as well. It's like I said, I'm studying it, but it's hard to do it when you don't have the internet, your Wi-Fi to use.
That's true.
I'm on data now, so I'm going to love my bill come the end of the month.
Oh,
but
boy.
it's okay. And my daughter, Maggie, I did a party for her, and that's how I got involved, was underneath her.
Awesome. The Maggie and Peggy team is exploding, as are several of our teams. Oh my gosh, it's an exciting time. Love it. All right, did we get everybody? So just a housekeeping kind of things. If you have background noise, mute your side. We're going to cover a lot tonight, but if you're already doing some online parties and you've been working with me, some of it will look familiar, and we'll flesh out a little bit more details for you, okay? So there is a chat. If you pull your cursor down to the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a little button that says chat. And if you have questions in the moment, put them in there. Type those out. And before we finish up, actually, did I hit record? Yeah, we're recording. Before we finish up, we will save that chat and make it available for everybody, so that we can make sure to go back and answer any questions that we might have missed. So if somebody sees a question pop in there that's relevant to what I'm talking about, prompt me, and I'll make sure to answer it right then. But I'm going to try my darndest to respect your time tonight. This is the first of 3 classes. And the expectation is that by the end of these classes, you will be up and running with your online parties, with the number of online parties that you want to do. And then we will start it again, and we'll do it again in November. And we'll do this every month. So I'm asking you to hold me accountable for that. Okay? And as you guys become experts, we will share teaching these classes, because Sherry gave me her outline. And this, like I said, this is not going to be the first time you've heard some of these things, okay? So we've got it. So I've got Sherry's outline. And just an overview of what today's class includes. We're going to just talk about why to do virtual parties, how to book them and track them, your virtual party outline and the content with Post My Party, avoiding Facebook jail, and we'll finish up with your homework. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay. And in case I didn't clarify, I am Shelley Weekes, formerly Shelley Valet, just celebrated 19 years and $1 million in sales, along with Ellen. And just thrilled beyond thrilled to be able to be seeing so much success in my online parties and in my team's online parties, to be able to package this so that we get even a more explosive growth. So here's what we're going to do. And I'm looking at the time. Okay, and we are so we first kind of started off as to like why are we doing those online parties? For years, Pampered Chef, actually today is our 39th anniversary. Pampered Chef Doris Christopher went out 39 years ago tonight with her 6 crates to a friend's house, did her first party, booked 4 more parties, and the rest was history. And so those online live parties have been the bread and butter of Pampered Chef, okay? And those are still have a place. They still have a place. But there is a changing world, absolutely a changing world, and people are wildly busy, and they are just frantic. They're trying to get all these things done, and they always have their cell phone in their pocket. And when we're talking about online parties, we are in fact talking about on Facebook, okay? There is a world coming down the line where we may be talking about online parties in Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, YouTube, texting. I've been seeing details about all of those, and we'll get there, but we're talking about Facebook for the time being. And so the way this came about is our National Executive Director, Sherry Carr, and her partner, Nancy Francis, both were at executive seminar, where that we will all be one day soon when we're all executives. And they heard the story of a friend of mine, actually, who's been a Pampered Chef just a little bit longer than me. Her name is Love Carpenter. And Love was cranking along and had a very solid business. She was an executive director, and she had, I want to say, 6 directors on her team. So no small thing, right? But she'd been hearing about the astronomical growth of people like Stephen Joseph, and I mean, on and on, all these people, and she wasn't experiencing it, and she was super frustrated. She was doing 10 parties a week, and 2 of them were online parties. When you say online party, virtual party, we mean the same thing, okay? So 2 of them were online parties, and 8 of them, 2 a week, were go out in person and do these parties. And she was just like, my online parties are just crud. They're just frustrating. They're crickets, right? Why is everybody else having success and I'm not? And so she really dug into it. And what she did is she committed, and which is what I want to ask each one of you to do. If you want to take this journey with us on online parties, the first step is committing. It's like, yes, I want to do it. Is it easy? No. There's a lot of steps involved. There's a lot of technology involved. Facebook, we don't have control of it all the time. Ellen, are you in Facebook jail right this minute?
I am in Facebook jail right this minute.
She's in Facebook jail. I've been posting for my mom, who's in Facebook jail right this minute. Okay, so there's certain things.
This is my second term, Shelley.
Been there twice already. Yeah, woo, cellmates. So you can still, actually, my first full month of doing online parties, I was in Facebook jail, count them 3 times. Yes,
Yes.
It is a thing. So that said, what Love did is she committed. She curtailed her live parties, and she committed to doing online parties and throwing herself into them. And she had success, okay? And so she really just kind of like, you have to believe that you're going to have success and plow forward with it. And that's what we're asking you to do. And I'm all about the numbers. I want to show you her numbers. Would you guys like to see what the results were?
Yeah, they're pretty outrageous.
It's pretty outrageous. So I'm sharing my screen with you, and I happen to have up on my screen, so hopefully you
Can't
guys
begin
can
to
see
see
my
that.
screen. Okay, and that's as big as I can get it right now. But this is what she did, and I'm going to tell you, she went from doing 10 shows a month to 10 shows a week. Okay. She did personally, and she started it in January of this year. And this little chart right here shows in 2018, this was the numbers of shows that her team held. In January of 2018, they did 152. And in January of 2019, 292. The next month, February, 216 versus 470. This is for a whole team. March 2018, 251. This last March, they were up to 772 parties that they completed. April, 272. Very, very static here, numbers of parties in 2018. But the corresponding month in 2019, look at April went up to 996, and in May it was 1100, over 1100 parties that her team did. That was the result of her putting her mind to these online parties. The shows held, the total was 3360 in 2018, and over 7,000 parties just in the first 6 months of the year this year in 2019. Okay, obviously this is not her doing all these parties, this was her team. And so in 2018 their team sold 120,000. That's very similar to our numbers. We sell usually right around $125,000 a year. That's a big amount of food shoppers and quick cookers, right? But look at what happened in 2019. The first 6 months of the year, they sold $500,000. Here's just one gal who got started on her team in her first month. She, her name is Lori, and she did 27 parties in her first month, and her paycheck was $3,900 her first month as a consultant. So the numbers are pretty impressive, right? So we want to offer that for all of us, and I've seen that kind of growth too. I was teetering along, and it was in only June of this month that I implemented these online parties that we're going to teach you. Okay, and some of you have been working on it with me, but this is what we're going to recommend, and we're going to teach our brand new consultants when they first order their kit. Okay, who did I have on the call last night? Our orientation call with Caitlin and Dee. And that's exactly what I laid out for them with their recruiters were on the call. And I've been doing that same orientation call with every new group of consultants when they come on board. And it says, we're going to get you started on Friday, whatever the next Friday is, with 4 parties. 4 parties every Friday. Now, you ask people who are brand new what they think when you say that, and they say, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, there's a really good reason. And if you've been doing online parties, I want to demonstrate this for you, okay? So, and even Love saw the exact same thing. She started in February of this month, and she had 14 directors, 14 leaders on her team. And by the time they hit July 1st, they had 67 directors on their team. And they promoted to a national executive team at national conference. We saw them on stage, their entire team, as she was promoted to national executive director in 5 months. So, and it is very doable if you have systems and you have processes. And it just so happens that's my superpower. The thing that I do really well, I don't do really well at house cleaning and keeping organized in my home, but I am really good at systems. So I've established systems for doing these online parties, and I've been teaching our new folks how to do them. And this Zero to Hero is one of those new ways to package this, and we're recording it, which means that as you're going forward, if you've got a new person, you can actually give them these classes and have them watch them. Awesome, huh? Okay, so so Love was amazing, and she was doing 4 at a time. So really, just like when you start any new job, you want to commit to it. You want to give it a really good solid month of trying something brand new. So I want you to really think about making a decision for yourself about how many parties a week you want to do. And as we go forward, I'm going to show you how to do that. So everybody good so far? Yep, with me? All right. So And like I said, there was the chat over there. Okay, so I want you to look at your calendar. Now here's the background to doing 4 at a time. The premise that we use for our online parties and the schedule is that our online parties start on Fridays, and the whole team is consistently doing this. And they're doing all the same steps. And that is magical, because if I am out of the loop and I'm unavailable, you can go to Brittany or you can go to Rosario or Ellen, and they'll know exactly what you're supposed to be doing that day. So you start on Friday with 2 days of pre-party. And then the meat of the party is 4 days of theme days. And we've been changing those up based on the season. Okay. So what happens when you do 4 at a time? Typically, tell me if this sounds familiar, one of them pops and does great. One of them flops and does terrible. And 2 of them are average. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Okay. And if you're doing less than 4, what happens is in any given week, you don't know if you're doing 1 or 2. You might have a flop and an average. And then the next week you might have another flop and a so-so one. And you never really get going. You never really build explosive growth. Okay. So if you are guiding your brand new consultants and holding yourself to a standard of 4 per week, you are going to be selling $1,500 to $2,000 every week. Not a month, a week. And how would that feel?
Great.
Minimum of $6,000 a month. Who's doing that right now? You would take that, right? Yep. And yes, you may want to go out and do your live parties, and you certainly can, but you cannot get that kind of volume doing live parties the way you can with the online ones. And it works. It absolutely works. Okay, so that is the premise. And as you start new folks off, as we set that as our baseline, you will start to see just this momentum build in an astronomical way. Okay, so we are following, so the 4 party cycles. You start, and in general, you can't, Mary Lou is starting today with her, how many parties do you have today? You're muted, Mary Lou, but we're working with your 2 first hosts, right, to get started
2.
Friday. So you've got 2, and you have 2 more for next week. We just had a cancellation, but you'll get more from these ones. We were just working with, Dee is just finishing up hers. So yeah, you can kind of get started with 1 or 2 in a week and then build and build. You certainly can. And that's what I did. When I got started in June, I did 2. I did 2 that first week, and I was like, oh, it was very much like Maggie. Maggie was like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing it. I'm really doing it. Yep. And then you kind of like get some experience and build it up. And I've built it up to 3 and 4. And this week I actually have 6. Okay, starting Friday. And several of them are launch parties for brand new consultants. They're launch parties for you guys. And so guess what? I know how to do launch parties as virtual parties. So I'll show you that too. So I want you to just kind of be thinking, it's not, and as you kind of, the next step is like, how do you get those online parties? Is that kind of somewhere? I know Rosario said she's a little stuck on that. Kate's a little stuck. Yeah, okay. So one of the things that happens in the next class that we do next week, next Tuesday, we will really look at within your party kind of where the magic happens and how you do the interaction amongst folks who are at one of your online parties and how you turn that interaction into bookings. So that will definitely be one of our big focuses for next week. But you know what? It is not how you ask. It's not the words you use. It's the numbers. It's not how you ask someone to be an online host. It's how many people you ask and following up with them. Okay. So we're all busy people. The last time somebody asked you to do something, very likely as a woman, our first inclination is to say no. Would you agree? You know, if they asked you to come and go to the field trip with the kids and you're like, no, I don't have time, right? Or be the PTA president, or take on this extra project at work. And no. Inevitably, everybody, like 98% of people, say no that first time. The second time they're asked, the percentages actually get better. It's more like 92% of people say no, which means that your percentage of yeses is going up. But the third time someone is asked, it really is a lot more. It's something like 70% say no and 30% say yes. These are statistics. You can actually look them up. Ask your Alexa to tell you the statistics on the numbers of times someone needs to be asked or offered something and how the rate of acceptance increases. Okay, and it's absolutely true. You want to be the person who is offering or asking someone to be a host of an online party the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th time. If you ask somebody once or even twice and then you give up, the next person, the next Pampered Chef who comes around and asks is going to get your yes. Does that make sense? Okay, which is why when you're offering and trying to find, you're offering online parties and trying to find those first few hosts, all you need is a couple to get you started. What you want to do is what we call a green dot message. And it's a message that you send to folks. It's typically in a Facebook message. And it's something very, very brief. It's not huge. It's not like, oh, I want you to do an online party and you get all these rewards and your friends do all this and I post all these themes and you'll get recipe. You don't go on and on and on and on. It's something that will start a conversation. My standard one, my go-to when my calendar is looking a little slim, I'll say, hey, Sally, I just had an opening for an online party. And if she doesn't know I do Pampered Chef, an online Pampered Chef party for this Friday, would you like to grab it? That's it. She may not know what an online party is, which is because she's going to come back to me and say yes or no, or she's going to ask me a question. What is it? Can you guys still hear me? I just got an error message that said my screen was okay. So you can hear me good. So have you experienced that? That when you ask people about that, they'll either flat out say no, or they'll say yes, or they come back with questions about it. Okay, and then the questions are pretty standard, and the answers are pretty. If you do this a lot, what are the questions? How does it work? How much time does it take? What do I need to do? Okay, part of the systems that I have kind of built over what now 4 or 5 months of doing online parties is I've written out the answer to those questions and I keep it kind of in one little spot so that when I get the question, I don't have to re-answer it. I just go copy the answer and paste it and move on, wait for her to reply. Because they ask the same questions. So, everybody always asks me, and I, how do you get your bookings? Well, I talk to enough people and I go back to them and I offer again. And then I go back to them later and I offer again. And if you've been working with me, you've seen a system that is not of my design. This is actually handed to me by Stephen Joseph. And Stephen Joseph is the fella whose online system for online parties we are following. He started Pampered Chef in 2016. And promoted to the highest level in our company this last July in less than 3 years, the first fella ever. And he did exactly the process that I'm teaching you. So I'm gonna share my screen again, and this should look familiar because you guys have seen this from me, right? So this right here, and he didn't make this either. He borrowed it from somebody else who taught him. And this is a little tracker. It's a single piece of paper, and when I send it to you, I want you to print out 20 of them and staple them together. Okay? And the way that it works is this helps you keep track. of who you've offered a chance to be a host, who you've offered an online party to. So you write the week of. Today is the week of. Today's October 15th. And up here at the top, there's 25 spots. Your goal is to fill this within a week. And I started with a blank sheet just like this in June. And I went to a lot of my customers and I just copied and pasted that message that I just told you. Hey, I've got online parties. I just had an opening for an online party to get started for this Friday. How would you like to grab it? And I sent that message to a bunch of folks, and I sent a customer connection email to my current customers saying, hey, I'm starting something brand new. I'm going to be offering online parties. Message me if you're interested in grabbing one of my first spots. And I had 2 people say yes. And here's what my first sheet looked like. It says June 10th. Kathy is right there and Tommy's right here. And the way that this little sheet worked is you can only put their name on the sheet if you ask them about hosting. It's not a brain dump of the people you're going to ask. You have to ask them. Okay. So you ask them about, being a host of an online party, and you put the date that you asked them under the column that says the first time you asked them. And you start filling this. See, it says June 10th, June 11th, June 12th. I got down to June 14th. The second column, third column, fourth, you keep going. And maybe they come back to you with more questions and you answer their questions. You offer your next 2 available dates. And as you do it, you get better. And so the folks that were circled, those were the first folks who grabbed dates on my calendar. And so Kathy and Tommy became my first 2 hosts. And then the rest of the contacts I made who I was offering a chance to host their own online party came from those 2 parties. And then the rest came from those. Would you like to see just a little overview of how it exploded starting June 10?
Sure.
Want to see? I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. So I started, this is my little sheet. Okay. Same one I just showed you. The highlights are, and again, the columns, it's their name, and then 5 columns, first, second, third, fourth, 5th time that you talked with them. And then there's a column that says not interested. Nobody actually, only 2 people told me they weren't interested. And then there's a column for bookings, and I would put the booking date that they booked their party. And down here at the bottom, recruits. And so the first page of 25 people, those are the bookings that I got. Okay. And this is the second page, Tommy and Kathy's party, bookings. I have been using this system ever since. More bookings. There's people on here that I still have only contacted and asked 1 time. I need to go back and reach out to these folks, right? Then folks started signing up. See them down here at the bottom? Those are the folks who I was talking to about doing Pampered Chef. So this just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. All the highlights are bookings or recruits. Almost everybody who's on this call as a result of one of those parties. Mary Lou's party was in, June 21st. And Mary Lou is sitting right here on this call with us. That's Mary Lou right there. And she didn't actually say yes to coming and joining Pampered Chef until early October, but her party was in June. So a lot of folks come back after that. Does that seem like it's a paper system, but Stephen Joseph uses it. He's my next executive director. Does that seem like a reasonable thing? Track of it?
Definitely.
Okay. Your goal is to fill a page a week. That's 25. You're bound to get 2 or 3 bookings if you talk to 25 people. And if you want to absolutely put your business on hyper overdrive, plan on target filling 2 pages a week. Do 50. Okay. And one of the things that I did off in the little margin over here, that actually says me. Those were contacts from me initially. As it got more and more involved, like here's August 9th. Brittany is right there. That was Brittany's party. and I had 4 parties going on, and I put the initials for each of my 4 hosts. And so off in the column, I put the initial of the host that that person was associated with. So at a glance, if I was looking at Cheryl Kent, I know that she was from Christie's party because of the little initials off on the side. Does that make sense?
You didn't make a separate page for each host.
No, I started off doing that. That was just way too much.
Okay, okay. That makes sense.
I put, so
It's more concise.
yeah, the dates up here became the Friday start dates.
Right, okay.
The Friday start dates, okay?
Okay.
And that's how I booked those parties. It's not in what you say. It is in how many people you talk to. Okay, 8 will make you great. Go for no 100 times. Over 19 years, Pampered Chef has had all these different permutations of this, just trying to get us to talk to enough people. And as you start to talk to enough people, you will get yeses. If you don't talk to enough people, you'll get a couple no's, and then you'll stop and you won't get those yeses. Okay, so in terms of booking your first parties, I'm going to stop there. Is this helpful?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So every step along the way for the process for these online parties, Stephen has written it out in what he calls his host coaching guide. We love it. And every step that I show you is written out in the Bible, and it should look familiar if you guys have been hosts of mine prior to today. Okay, so we're doing those steps. And I will tell you that his process is pretty involved. There's a lot of steps to it, but it works, right? Sherry and Nancy, they put together a Stephen Joseph Light version. So they took and did this whole program, but their processes are a little simpler. So they still work, but they're a little simpler. We've been using Stephen Joseph, so that's what I'm going to teach you. But I want you to be aware that there is another Bible out there with a simpler process, and I'll make sure it's available for you. But I'm gonna have us stick with what has been working with for us for the time being. So are we cool with that? Okay. Mary Lou went from 0 to an 8 or 9 just from this morning to today. I mean, she made huge progress with these steps just in less than 10 hours, and super, super proud of you, Mary Lou. You jumped on it. So you got your two hosts rocking. Okay, so we've got all the systems and all of I took his guide and I made systems out of them, and guess what? I get to share those with all you, whether it's the text replacement pieces that I put in my phone, the games, the prize winner circle, those things I put together, but I pulled it all from what he does. Okay. Any questions? I see a Shelley, do you call every contact or do you text, email? Most of them are Facebook messages, right? But some of them are text and some of them are email. So it's a combination. That was Keith's question. Okay. It's a contact. And you can do that in person even. You can even do it over the phone, but honestly, I don't call people that often these days. So it's a contact, okay? I'm gonna share my screen with you just real quick and show you the schedule that we're currently following for our online parties. And it looks like this right here. And I share this with my hosts. So Friday and Saturday are the pre-party days. Sunday is all about new products. Monday is about quick fix dinners. Tuesday's Halloween fun and inspiration. And on Wednesday, my favorites, and the party wraps up and we're done. Okay. That's the schedule currently. Now, if you're brand new with us, you might be wondering like, oh my gosh, how am I going to post into 4 parties at a time? How is that going to work? That sounds super time consuming. And what's the answer to that? Those of you who are already doing it. We have a posting service, right? Post My Party. And I actually have the templates for each of those 6 days and I hand it to you.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So that's great. I think I had this conversation with Peggy. I had new consultants who were losing their marbles, freaked out, were trying to figure out how they were going to create the content for their parties. And we've made the content and our team gets it. You get it from me. All right. Now there is this nifty, interesting thing called Facebook jail. And you end up landing in Facebook jail if you do bad Facebook things. Namely, using the same pictures and words that everybody else is using. And so I'm going to give you some of the ways that you're going to avoid Facebook jail. So yes, I'm going to share my templates with you, and I'm going to share the screen in a second and show them to you. But you are going to take my templates and you're going to make changes. And a change might be as simple as taking one of the pictures and saving it on your computer with a new name and then adding it, deleting the original one and adding the saved one back.
Just shifting them.
Yeah, that honestly will make a huge difference. And Post My Party has gotten really smart. As you see the posts, it'll tell you if there's a warning sign, or if there's a post in there that's going to get you in Facebook jail, it will tell you. All right. But there's other reasons you could land in Facebook jail. So let's talk about that for a second. So one of the things to avoid Facebook jail, you always want to make a Facebook business page and create your party groups. They're not events, they're groups. Make them from your Facebook business page. Okay, that's what Facebook has asked us to do. Mary Lou and I had this conversation earlier today because the result is one of the things that happens. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to one of my parties for you. Okay, so you're seeing my Facebook, right? And this is Jessica's party, is in progress. And one of the things that happens when you make a party from your Facebook business page is that you are almost like two people in the way that Facebook looks at you. You are your business and you are yourself personally. And you can post or interact with your party in both identities. And it's really, I actually had this conversation with Ellen. Ellen messaged me and said, I cannot tag those folks like you told me I was supposed to. She was so frustrated. And I answered, who are you interacting as? Well, she didn't understand what the heck I was talking about. But this is what it's talking about. See the name of the party? And see over here, it says interacting as yourself. This is me interacting as me, Shelley. Click that once and it says choose how to interact by my business page or by me personally. And you can toggle back and forth, whether you're on a computer or whether you're on a cell phone, you can toggle back and forth, and different functions will be accessible to you based on which way you're interacting. Okay, when I'm interacting as my cooking classes and I go to invite somebody to the party, if I try to invite Ellen, she doesn't show up. She doesn't pop up as somebody I can invite. She's my mom. Clearly we're friends on Facebook, but it's because I'm interacting as my business page. If I switch this to interacting as Shelley, now I can add Ellen, because Shelley and Ellen are friends. There's Ellen.
Whoa.
Okay. So little things like that. And I'm going to give you a little tip here, and I'm kind of jumping the gun on you, but to make this all go smoother, when you set up your parties, you're setting them up through your Facebook business page, go and add yourself and make your personal self admin. And that way you have more control over the things you can do no matter who you're interacting with. So I'm going to go to members and I'm going to go find my name, and here I am, Shelley. And you click right here and you say make admin. And next time you go into this party, it'll say, would you like to be the admin? And you click yes. And now both you and your business are admin on your party. Okay. It's a little slide trick. I just learned. We're doing a little bit of mojo fojo on it. Okay. All right. So, but as we're looking at the parties, and Jessica's getting ready to wrap up here, she's got 29 people going, which is great. One of the things I want you to realize is that if you have 4 parties going on, you are not the one who is interacting and, you know, engaging on every single post on all 4 of those or more of those parties. You know who's doing that?
Your host.
The host. Okay, so the roles are, you are the consultant and your host knows her friends. Imagine that it's a virtual kitchen and she's actually invited people into her kitchen. She wouldn't ignore people, right? She would engage. And that's where a lot of our past online parties got all hung up. And you had these silent, terrible, excruciatingly dead virtual parties. If you've been to new virtual parties with me, the interaction is explosive. It's huge, the amount of interaction. I mean, just today on Jessica's party, one of the games that we did, and if you look at Tracy's and Rick's that's going on right now too, they've something like 26 comments on one of the games. Here's just one game with 10 comments, 14 comments, 11 comments. People are engaging and interacting, and the reason is the host coaching part of this whole system. So as you're getting started, your parties start on Fridays, but your host coaching starts the minute that you book the party, the minute that a person grabs a Friday date to start their party. Okay, and here's where it goes. If you've been working with me, you know there are 2 things that you have your very first, that you ask your brand newly booked host to do. 2 things, right? The first is you ask them to fill out your VIP host survey. Okay, this is something that I've used all along, but what it does, well, your host, when you tell them, boom, they want to do October 18th, you say, great, I always ask my host to fill out my VIP host survey. Here's the link. If they don't fill it out, they're not a committed host. If you nudge them and they still don't fill it out, you can pretty much keep going because you need some other hosts. And so now you haven't wasted all your time on somebody who's not going to follow through. And look at how cool this is. You guys can actually make one of these yourselves, or if your brand spanking new, guess what? You just use mine. And I will feed you the answers for your hosts who answered my survey. Name, address, phone number. You need all this stuff from them anyway to set up their party, right? Date for your party. Who did you book yours from? What's the best way to contact you? We're doing it, 99% of it's through Facebook Messenger, regardless of how they answer on this, right? About your party. What type of show are you hosting? How many friends do you have on Facebook? If they only have 50, we're going to need to really work with them. If they have 2,000, oh my gosh, look forward to $1,000 party or more, right? How much in Hostess free credit are you looking to get? If they click, you know, $165 or more, they're looking for a monster party, right? What are your top 3 wish list items? Tell me about your friends. And then a bonus question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in trying on the apron? This is huge. If they post anything above a 2 on this, you know that they're prospectively a new teammate. But you know that from the moment they pick their first date, not at the end of their party. Okay? And then you give them 2 options of pictures to post on your Facebook newsfeed with the words, and they do it. There's a cool picture. Here's another picture. So this is huge. So they fill out my host survey. And the second thing you ask of a brand new host is, I always ask my new host to look at a good party and a bad party. Do you have a second to do that now? And this is a Stephen Joseph thing. You want them to go to one of your, you give them the link and you add them to one of your really good parties, and you just ask them to scroll through real quick and tell me why you think this was a good party. Lately, I've been adding folks to Kim's party that finished a week or so ago, and the answers you're looking for, wow, there were a lot of people going, 57. That's a lot. And they're scrolling through here and they're going, oh my gosh, wow, there's a lot of interaction. And they're scrolling through 29 comments on that game, right? This is the end of the party. So you kind of scroll through, 4 comments there. Oh my gosh, it looks super fun. There's lots of pictures. There's the host posting a thank you for a friend placing her order, right? Last call, there's the host thanking her friend for ordering. Okay, there's a lot of interaction, there's a lot of people attending, and the host is super engaged. All right, fabulous. Let's add them to a party that bombed. If you don't have a bombed party, I'm so surprised. I've got zillions. Add them to a bombed party, tell them to scroll through it and tell me why you think it bombed, and their answer should be, oh my gosh, it's crickets. And yeah, exactly. And then you ask, so by this time next week, which host do you want to be? And they're gonna, of course, say, I want to be Kim, right? If you, and you tell them Kim's party ended at $1,300 in sales. She had over $370 in free products. The Crickets party had one puny order for $22 and the host didn't even get any rewards. So which host do you want to be? Okay, that hardwires the success tips into their brain for this next week, and they trip over themselves to do the things you ask them to do. Okay, does that make sense? Does it sound familiar?
Yep.
So the only part that's different than Steve and Joseph's outline is my host survey, my VIP host survey. Sherry Carr calls and has a phone call and walks them through it on a phone call. I have them take my host survey and do the good party, bad party. Brittany's got a fun description for the good party, bad party. What do you call it, Brittany? Unmute yourself and tell us.
So I call it a thumbs up. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I call it a thumbs up and thumbs down party.
Cool. Very
And
good. I love it.
As I was sitting here, you guys, I just booked 2 parties for Deirdre. If you see me looking down. So Deirdre, you have 2 parties coming up on the 25th.
Awesome. Fabulous.
And your Nicole Renee party, she put a 4 on. She's interested in being a consultant. She put a 4.
Oh, fantastic. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Great job. So, yeah, you guys are rocking it. So, so is this helpful? Kate? Yes. Would you like me to show you Post My Party, and I'll fill in some more of those success tips and kind of give you an image of how you take my templates and change them? Okay, and then that will be kind of our last little part, and then we're done. Okay, you ready? All right, so I'm going to go to Post My Party. I happen to have it open. It stays open here. And so if you're brand new, you go to postmyparty.com and you sign up for an account, and it's $10 a month, and it will be 10 extremely well spent dollars, because Stephen Joseph is doing 12 to 16 parties a week. Love Carpenter's doing 10 a week. This is how you post the content, okay? And so we have what we call templates, and I'm going to share my templates with you. And I'm going to scroll down here. You're seeing a lot of templates here because I've got more things that I use Post My Party for. But if you're looking here, can you see this? Can you see this reasonably well? Let me make it bigger and open this up. Okay, the ones I'm talking about right here are my fall templates. And one thing that I have done to make it easy to share with my team, some people take and they say, okay, it's a 6-day party, including the 2 pre-party days. So you need 1 template for 6 days. But if I hand it to you and you start making changes, and then all of a sudden Halloween, see there's a Halloween one, Halloween is over and you want to change it to Thanksgiving, if we've got it broken up by day, I can make a Thanksgiving one and give it to you, and you can just adjust that one day and plug it in where the Halloween one was. And then once Thanksgiving's over and Christmas is long. So I've done this to make it easy so that we all can use these templates. All right. But there are 5 of them. Okay. There's a pre-party day. Then there's a back to school day sitting right there. We're kind of done with that, but the order goes pre-party for 2 days, new products, quick fix dinners, Halloween, and then Shelley's favorites. And here's what I'm gonna open up. We've got noisy background. I'm muting you guys. I'm gonna open up the 2-day pre-party one so you can see it. So the 2-day pre-party is 1 template, 2 days. And what I'm going to recommend you do when you get this and open it on your screen, I'm going to have you go all the way down to the bottom and copy it. Make a copy, because this one is called, and put my name in here and call this Shelley. This is the original, it's your master. And when you go down here and you say copy, now this one's a copy. I want you to put your name here. And now you've made a new template that's in your name. Mine is sitting over there in that list of templates in case you mix it all up and you want to go back and see what I had. If you deleted some things and you want to see my original. So you'll have 2. And this then is the one you start editing, is your template. Okay. And obviously, here's the very first post. Here's a glorious picture of my beloved JD. I'm a newlywed. I show him off. I show off my family. You're going to take my freaking pictures out and put yours, right? So that's the part I'm talking about. You're going to go through the template and make this yours. It says, you know, welcome. So happy to hang out with you. I love what I do. My name is Shelley. Your name is not Shelley. Change that, right? So you're going to write in your stuff. Okay. And one of the really great things about this, see how it says host in brackets? And Maggie was freaking out and Peggy was freaking out until I explained this to them, and shame on me for not explaining it soon enough. On your template, leave the word host in brackets, because when you schedule it for Sally's party and Jane's party and Harriet's party, it's going to replace that word host with their name. You don't have to manually do that. Oh, isn't that great? Okay. Similarly, there's going to be in brackets, it's going to say link, and that's where you put their party ordering link. Okay. When you get this, you'll see. And there's excellent tutorials on Post My Party. See this little thing down here? There's a person behind that little smiley face that will answer your questions if you're stuck. And there's really cool YouTube videos made by pampered chefs exactly how to use this if you really need to use them. But it's very intuitive. If you make a change to a single post, click update before you go on to the next one. Okay. And I always love to get free deals. Here's the next one. It's an October special to get a free pizza cutter or whatever. Come November parties, you're going to need to change this. So you're going to go through the templates. And I want you to read them all. You need to know what you're posting. You get familiar with the content and you go through screen by screen. And remember, you're going to take and make, you know, if you found some pictures that you think are more fun, you can replace these, make these your own. But I do want you to change the names of a lot of these things. You can go, let's play a game with the coffee cup, right click it, save the picture as, save it to your computer with a brand new name, and then add it back in here. That right there will help you not land in Facebook jail. Okay, change up some of the words. Let's have some fun this morning. I just changed some of the words. Click update and move on. Okay, so when you do that and you're looking at your template, you have to click update so you can save your things. See all these green checks? This means Post My Party has verified that these are good posts. They're not going to make Facebook mad at you, except for that one. Or if you see a red circle, oh my gosh, that's a bad one. That will get you thrown in Facebook jail if you don't finish it. So let's go look at this one. You're the empty nester. Your youngest has started. Something is wrong with here. I could actually take out those couple extra spaces that are in there and update it and go back to the template. And it's better. I got it now. Okay. It might be something super simple, but lots of us are using these templates. You must change them. Okay. All right. Does that give you kind of a little good picture of Post My Party? Okay. In our team, we have a, oh, where's my little thing now? I can't find it. Stop sharing. We have a special Facebook group where those of us who are doing online parties kind of hang out, and I've added all of my systems accessible there for you. And if you're in it already and you're not using it, you really want to use it. So if I go over here to Facebook and type in support, it's called Shelley's Rockstar VP support page, and there's only 25 of us. These are consultants in our organization, or my sister directors in other groups that are letting me teach them and help them. But these are all people who are doing online parties. And this test group is morphing a place for us to learn, share, and support each other, right? And Maggie introduced her new teammate, Rita, thanks. But you can use the search function and Post My Party, PMP, if you search for it. There you go. This right here is a note with my templates for Post My Party that I just shared with you. Click on it, and it's going to open it up, and it's going to say there's a screenshot showing you what there's. Here's the pre-party 2-day template. Okay, here's the 1-day template for what's new. Here's the one for quick fix dinners. These are the links to them. This is how you access my templates. There's Halloween. There's Shelley's favorites on the last day. And then you go down, and here's all the ones we used to use, and I kept them in there. There's a back to school template for you, a grilling day, a baking and stoneware day. Kathy did a back to school one, okay? And then I gave you actual instructions on screenshots on how to use this. Okay, is that helpful?
Yep.
Okay, there are a lot of resources in this Shelley support group. So if you search, you'll find my trackers, you'll find my text replacement, all those systems that I told you about. Okay, so did we do what we were going to do? Did we talk about how to stay out of Facebook jail? Yes. I'm going to share my notes with you because Sherry has in here some details about additional details on how to make your parties successful and words to avoid using in your posts. Things like the word ticket or prize, link, using the word link, using the word shop. These are trigger words.
I'm sorry, say those again, Shelley.
Okay, trigger words that make Facebook unhappy with you. The word, the word link, prize, shop, the word tag, the word comment, the word pampered chef. You want to use something different. You want to use PC. And even the names of some of our products, if you type in quick cooker, that's actually one of those things that they don't necessarily like. You might use an abbreviation, QC, or you might say, one of my absolute, you know, my beloved baby. And you've got a picture of it that says quick cooker on the picture. So get silly and get funny with some of those words. The word PC, use P chef, or use, I'm sorry, instead of pampered chef, use P chef or PC. Okay, and I will share these notes with you that I'm reading from right now. so that you've got all of Sherry's notes. She gave us some
Okay.
extra good recommendations that I didn't hit today. Okay. Avoiding certain words, using Pampered Chef, and then she's got some success tips. All right. Is that helpful? Okay.
Yes.
We are ready to wrap up. And this is that moment where you get a chance to share with us what the, oh my gosh, best tip was that you learned from our call number 1 today. And this is kind of got a dual purpose. It helps us sort of recap a little bit. So everybody unmute yourselves and everyone gets a chance to tell us like, oh my gosh, the one thing that we talked about that was like, oh, that one. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Mary Lou, go.
Post my party templates.
Was that helpful?
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
All right, there you go.
Well, that's huge.
Yep,
Yeah.
templates, right? Okay, great. I love it. Marvelous. What else? Maggie?
Actually, the Facebook jail terms.
The what?
The Facebook jail terms.
Okay, good, good.
Because that's the one thing, like I always make sure that the post
Okay.
are green, but I never thought of like when I'm typing stuff, I just type it. But now I'm like, I need to be looking into that. So
Yeah, good, good. Great, great. How about you, Kate?
Why we need to do 4 parties a week.
Yes. Huge, huh? And you probably experienced that, right? If you did 1 or 2. If you got 1, if you were just doing 1 and you got a couple weeks in a row of bummers, you're going to get really discouraged, right?
Right.
Yeah, very good.
And I have, so.
Yeah, and I have too. I have too, because I was doing the exact same thing. I'm just going to give you one extra little tip about that I didn't include. As you're getting started, your homework is to go book 4 parties. To either start the 18th or the 25th. Rock on. That's your homework. Go book them, okay? As you're getting started learning these processes, I want you to do parties each week. I want you to target 4. Because you're learning, and the things you do this week you will learn from, and you'll implement those things you learn next week, and your parties will be better next week, and then the next week they'll be better. What I found, and what the recommendation, when I talked to Steven, he said the same thing. You start, Ellen, what's your question?
Shelley,
Yes.
is your Shelley's host information request a Google form?
It's a Google form.
Okay, can you put an example of it out there on our page for us?
Yes, it's out there. It's on my VP.
For us folks who need to copy your Google form?
Yeah, in fact, please do. Open mine up and put it in a window over here, and open your Google Forms up and put it in a window on the other side.
It could take me weeks to make it, but I'll give it my best shot.
No, you're just copying and pasting. And there's YouTube videos showing you how to make a Google form.
If I could get a YouTube video to play on my computer, Shelley, it would be heaven for me, but it doesn't work.
Cell phone.
I know, I can get it on there, but I don't see much better than I hear, so
I know.
You know my challenge.
I know. You do amazing. 19 years and the woman can't hear anything, guys.
Okay.
Anybody can do Pampered Chef. If my mom
technology and your mother, you know that.
Okay, so back to where I was talking about. Steven's recommendation is, it may seem counterintuitive. You may want to do like, I'm going to do a couple parties this week, and then this week, and then this week, and then this week. If you really want to not do quite as many as 4 every single week, do 4 one week and none the next. And then 4 the next week and none the next. Okay. It is easier to do 4 at a time than to do 1 and then 1 and then 1 and then 1. You are doing exactly the same steps 4 times. Okay, you're posting your game, tagging, posting your game, tagging, posting your game, and you're done. You're sending a message to 4 different hosts. Okay, fudge, another earthquake. What's the 3rd one? Oh my good gracious. Okay. There was a 5.0 near Sid at Santa Cruz earlier today.
Okay, are you shaking?
It did. It's still shaking. The dog's shaking. We
Stop
love
shaking,
California.
Shelley.
Stop shaking. Dee is looking at me going, oh my God. Okay, so do them every week to start, and make yourself a little chart like this. Okay, here's September. All right, I took the back of my little thing and I just said, I've got to be able to keep track of it. Here was September. These are the Fridays. That was the numbers of hosts. Okay, I went on a retreat, so I made sure not to schedule myself. If you only want to schedule yourself the first week and the third week, that is your focus. Don't just schedule one in this other spot. Tell somebody, no, I've got this week or this week. Which one do you want? Okay. Make yourself a little chart like that and stick to it. It just helps clear things up, and you're like, okay, here's what I have going on. This works, right? Make yourself that little chart. Okay, who else has a, oh my gosh, what did you learn today? Who hasn't shared? Ellen, what was your aha moment from today?
The fact that you could interact as two different people on your show, your business or yourself. I didn't know you could do that.
I know you did it.
Figured if you set it up, and that's where you were.
No, you set it up as your business. So business is the admin, and you're just an extra guest.
So you can switch it back and forth.
You can toggle back and forth and make yourself admin.
Okay.
Make yourself admin. Rosario's muted. Come unmute for us, Rosario, and tell us what your, oh my gosh, did you learn anything new for today?
New?
What?
Any
Any ahas from tonight?
I can't remember right now because I've been going in and out.
Okay. We're gonna get feedback from you later, then we'll give you a pass. How about Dee? What was your best aha from today? Have I got you muted? I can't hear you. Are you trying to talk to us, Dee? Okay, you'll have to post in the Zero to Hero Facebook group and tell us what your best aha, and then whose phone number is 7277? You're muted. Is that Peggy?
The next date. Hang on.
Is that Peggy?
22nd.
Okay, I can't hear you guys, unfortunately. All right, so use the Zero to Hero Facebook message group or our team support page that I just showed you as your place for additional questions. I will post these notes right there so you have access to them. And I'm super proud of you guys. I'm looking forward to hearing about your bookings. If you get stuck, call on each other, call on me. We're gonna rock this, yes? 4 parties at a time, okay? It is not too late to start for this Friday, October 18th. So you are gonna go from zero to hero. We will have our call number 2 next Tuesday night, and I'm looking forward to your feedback about this. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. I'm gonna stop the recording and we'll talk to you soon.